Dynamite Chat in the morning, back in here with you and joined now by our guest, Michael J. Cox.
Yes.
And I honestly, when I saw it, I thought it was a joke. When I first saw your name, I really did, because I thought, Michael J. Cox, is that his real name, or is he just, but it's your real name.
It is, and you want to know the funny thing about that is, growing up we had a DeLorean.
No joke.
Yes, and I'm not named after the actor.
Well, Michael J. Cox, now you are with the Beale Street Monster Club.
Yes.
And you guys have an event coming up this weekend. But first, tell us about the club and what that is.
So what the Beale Street Monster Club is a local Mid-South classic horror, monster, and sci-fi institution where we focus on films from the very beginning of film history all the way up to 1968 with the release of Night of the Living Dead, with the rest of the Hammer horror films getting grandfathered in since those started in the 50s. We tried to preserve horror, monster, and science fiction history by getting posters, 35mm films, trailers, comics, magazines, anything classic monster, horror, sci-fi. And we preserve them and try to teach people the history of these films. And we actually, at our meetings, we bring these items out to show people, because a lot of these items, a lot of people haven't seen in person. They have only seen them in books, videos, or just images online. So that's what we do.
Yeah, and you were telling me some of the events you've had in the past, and one of them was Bigfoot on Beale, which was a huge event that you guys put on.
Yes, Bigfoot on Beale was very different because the phenomenon started towards the end of the scope that we focus on, and we wanted to do something a little different because it was our very first big event with 22 vendors, multiple speakers. It lasted from 11 to 6, and we wanted to do something that was a bit more, that the public was a bit more interested in, to see if people would be interested in that kind of event being hosted there. And it was amazing. There was probably approximately 400 to 500 people that came, and one of our vendors was actually would ask people who came by our tables, like, were you just happened to be on Beale Street, or did you come just for this event? And she said 99% of the people said, no, we came just for the event.
That's awesome, man. Bigfoot's big right now, and has been for a few years now. But I will make one slight correction to what you said. The phenomenon didn't start in the 50s. The term Bigfoot was coined in the 50s, and it sort of became a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah, that's what I meant by that. It was the cultural phenomenon. That's what. Yeah, no, because we have our Bigfoot on Beale mini museum. We talk about like it going all the way back to like Native American history, medieval, Europe history. So we have that
wild men and things like that.
Yeah, we have that part of that little mini museum that we created for that.
But what you've got upcoming now is the Lost World Rediscovered, which focuses on, it culminates in a screening of a silent film called The Lost World.
Yes.
And but it focuses on dinosaurs and that history. You have fossil displays. So just tell me a little bit about the Lost World Rediscovered event coming up at A. Schwab.
The Lost World Rediscovered is a celebration of the Lost World from 1925. It was the first feature film to incorporate stop-motion animation, done by Willis O'Brien, who would later do King Kong in 1933. And, dinosaurs, when they were first discovered, first really discovered as what we know today as dinosaurs in, the 1800s, scientists were referring to them as monsters, and how they were depicted were as monsters, as savage creatures and everything. But with the Lost World, it was actually one of the first times that a more scientifically accurate depiction of dinosaurs was actually depicted. Okay. Now, they were still savage, eating, things in the movie, but a lot of scientists believe that they were too heavy, so long necks had to be in water, to just be able to support themselves. While in the Lost World, they were actually depicted being on land, and it really was like decades ahead of its time of depicting how dinosaurs were. Now, there is still some scientifically inaccurate stuff, such as the T-Rexes, as my brother coined at one time, is in the Godzilla stance, meaning that it's more upright instead of it being, hunched over like you would think a T-Rex would be.
And now also, but dinosaurs, what we know about dinosaurs has evolved over the years so much anyway. Now we're finding that more of them were feathered than we thought, and things like that. So a little less reptilian in a lot of cases for them. So but it is amazing that a movie that old was getting some things right back then.
Yeah, and they are still very reptilian. Like you see, like the T-Rex has like scales and everything on it. And really, the big inspiration for this event was back when the Pink Palace in Memphis had the Sue T-Rex on display, and my brother and I, we went to go see it because she's the most complete T-Rex ever discovered.
Yes. And
seeing her for the first time was awe. It was a replica of her, but it was awe-inspiring, and I just remember, my brother looking at me, he's like, this thing is a monster. Oh, yeah. Because it was so alien.
I've seen these two, the original at the Chicago Museum, where its home is, and it is an amazing. It almost made it seem like it wasn't real because of how alien it was. Like, you see her in pictures and everything, it's like, oh yeah, these are real creatures. Then you see, it's like, oh my God, I cannot believe that this is a real animal that existed. But yeah, so it was really that feeling that I'm like, oh man, this thing is a monster. And then that kind of has stuck with me ever since seeing her. And when wanting to show the Lost World, that popped into my head. It's like, this would make a good event, is to show Sue. And then I also have a good little fossil collection, so it would be nice to show those because a lot of people haven't seen some of these fossils in real life. So we'll talk in the next segment about because you have some interesting fossils and stuff, and we'll also talk about some of the movies and things that you guys are interested in, and some of the stuff you do with the club when we come back on the other side of the break. If you don't mind sticking with me for another segment.
All right, yeah.
All right, so we got Bailey Zimmerman right now. We'll be right back with Michael Cox on US 51 Country 93.5 FM. Is your Free Plug Friday plug, and then we are back with Michael Cox, and he is with the Beale Street Monster Club. They've got the Lost World Rediscovered coming up this weekend, and Michael, let's talk about the event itself first. What all is going on that leads up to the screening of the film?
Well, we will have as we do with all of our meetings, we'll have a display with original pieces of dinosaur film memorabilia. We will have a poster of the Beast of Hollow Mountain on display, along with the film Dinosaurus, along with a good collection of original fossils, which will contain a Spinosaurus tooth, 4 Megalodon teeth, 3 trilobites, and a bunch of other various fossils from different creatures, and also rocks and minerals such as geodes.
And so the Megalodon, by the way, is the giant shark that once existed that you see in horror movies today. I think it's called. Isn't one of them called Megalodon? Isn't that the name of the movie?
So yeah, there's a movie called Megalodon, but the most recent films are The Meg.
The Meg, that's what it. Yeah, the one with Jason Statham.
Yes,
where he's the transporter, another transporter, Meg. No, he doesn't really transport it, but he's in the movie. However, you've got. It's just funny because Michael doesn't appreciate my humor, I think, as much as some of the audience. He's looking at me weird when I make these jokes. I'm just. I'm messing with you, but no. So but you also have the Spinosaurus, which, if you remember Jurassic Park 3, which is the one that's not based on a book, it's just it was a cash grab more than anything, and they replaced the T-Rex with the Spinosaurus as their sort of main thing. Mm-hmm. I think the Allosaurus was in the Lost World or something too, but the big bad dinosaur of the Jurassic Park 3 of the original trilogy was a Spinosaurus. So that's cool. Now, when you're watching this, so a lot of people today probably have never even seen a silent film. But as you said, this is a stop motion silent film from 1925, The Lost World. What can people look forward to in that?
Well, really just the spectacle of, seeing the dinosaurs and in the film, and just seeing how the effects are done and everything, because people know when something's actually in front of the camera, and it just makes it so much more appealing to the eye. It makes it more magical, because you have to realize that this was a team of people that had to move these dinosaurs bit by bit.
Right, millimeters at a time.
Yes, I think even the Brontosaurus, its neck took 3 people to animate it.
That's incredible.
So, I mean, this was a time-consuming... One of the sets was 75 feet wide by, I think, like 150 feet long, just to do these shots and, have the dinosaurs move and everything. And it's just pure movie magic at its finest, and it's just a wonderful film to look at.
Yeah, that's it's really something to see that there was that kind of effort in a film in 1925.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that effects, because everybody remembers movies because everybody's seen clips of movies like 25 Million Years BC with Raquel Welch, that one. And what's I'm trying to think of the name of the other one that's on the top of my head, but dinosaur movies that were like right at the transition from black and white to color.
Mm-hmm.
And
the ones that use the Slurposaurus effect with the lizards.
Yeah, where they would use real lizards,
mm-hmm.
And then sort of just use some movie magic to make them look huge and the people look small. So to see the claymation that ultimately led into King Kong,
mm-hmm.
Is really, I think, would be a really cool exercise. So and you guys will cap that off. And what time is the screening for that?
So the event starts at 1, and basically it's whenever I stop talking. So we have it go until 3:30, because the movie itself is almost 2 hours long. So I would say give me about 30 minutes of talking room, and then so I would say maybe around 1:30 is when the film's actually going to start. We like to give a little leeway room of
this is
talking
at the historic A. Schwab, the old hardware store on Beale Street. Not a hardware store anymore, but it's still called A. Schwab on Beale Street. That's where all this will be going on. And so it's free admission.
Yes.
People can come and enjoy it. And like you said, there's going to be a ton of stuff to look at and enjoy there at the event itself. And then, real quick, and we've only got a couple minutes, but real quick, the next thing for the Beale Street Monster Club, at least the next thing that you told me about, off the success of Bigfoot on Beale, you're going to do you're planning on doing an on Beale sort of event every year, a different sort of, I don't know, phenomenon on Beale.
Yes.
And this next one will be Roswell on Beale.
Yes, Roswell on Beale is going to happen on July 10th of 2027, on the 80th anniversary weekend of the Roswell incident. So it's going to be completely alien themed. And I'm really looking forward to it, because Bigfoot on Beale was such a massive success. We're going to have a display. We're going to have speakers again, vendors like we did with Bigfoot on Beale. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
I think it's going to be huge, especially with these releases now by the government. The government's releasing stuff. And I know anybody that's you might not know what I'm talking about if you're not into it, but anybody that's into it, there was always this infamous Twining memo, and the recent tranche of files released by the U.S. government sort of backs up the Twining memo, and so there's a lot of lore around Roswell and then the greater UFO phenomenon. I think it'll be there's a lot of buzz around that these days,
mm-hmm.
and so I think it'll be a great event. Michael, thanks so much for joining us, man. Just tell us one more time, quick plug about this weekend and how people can find out more about the Beale Street Monster Club.
Yeah, A Lost World Rediscover will be happening at A. Schwab from 1 to 3:30 this Saturday. And if you want to keep up with Beale Street Monster Club, you can find us at Beale Street Monster Club on Facebook and Beale Street Monster Club on Instagram. And you can message us on there for any ideas, suggestions, or if you just want to share any fun monster memories you may have growing up.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Top of the hour right now. We'll do some news and then come back with Around the Area on Dynamite Chat in the morning on US 51 Country 93.5 FM.